Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Travis and I want to thank you for tuning in to another TDH upload. Today's video we're going to be installing this 3rd gen track bar conversion kit for our 2nd generation Rams. This application or this kit works with 94 to 02 25 and 3500s, and for whatever reason it only works with the 94 to 01 1500s. So this kit should be a bolt-in kit, but they do give you the option to weld it in, and I may be going that route. But first we're going to start out by ripping out the old track bar, getting the area cleaned up because there's a ton of oil, debris, and all of that jazz hanging around underneath this truck because she does have 410,000 miles on her. I do work her every day, whether it's towing, going to mobile jobs, back and forth from the job site, or just daily driving. I work this truck every day. I've upgraded this truck with the PSE steering box, and it has been a fantastic upgrade. And I've had this track bar system here for quite a while. And to be honest with you, I've been kind of dragging my feet on the installation, and today is the day that we're going to get it installed. So enough of me running my mouth. Let's get this camera set up and start ripping out this factory track bar. So with the factory track bar removed and out of the way, we've got some trucks are going to have 10 mils, some are going to have 13 mils. We need to remove this bolt here and push this line up so that way the bracket can slide into this position. Now in their instructions they state that there are 2 different styles of track bar tabs. There's one style that has a nice clean radius and it doesn't have the weld on the face like mine does here. They say that if it has the weld, you have to grind this area off, clean it up, and prep it and knock it flush so that way the bracket can fit. But before I go grinding and going crazy, I'm going to test fit it. And we've got to start by removing that bolt up there. So I'm going to get that done, pull that out, then slip the brake line up just a little bit and see how the bracket fits. Okay, I've removed that brake line bolt that's up there, and you guys can see I've got the bracket in place. And right around that edge there, it doesn't sit exactly flush, so I'm gonna have to grind this weld right here down more so that way it's flush with the entire tab. Give you guys a better look. So this weld right here, this is not allowing it to sit completely flush, so what I'm gonna do is jack the body up a little bit more and see if I can't drop the axle and the suspension down to give me some more breathing room. I'm going to try to fit my cordless grinder in there. If not, I may have to do it with a dynophile, but that may take a while, so we'll see what we can do. I apologize for the fan in the background, but I got a lot of this cleaned up and prepped. You guys can see back here, it sits nice and flush against the cross member, nice and flush and tight against the body of the vehicle, or the frame of the vehicle. I've got that bolt fastened down. The only thing that I don't like really is the gap right there in between the frame and this mount. This is where that 1/2 inch bolt's going to go with that tab. Now they do say that you can weld this frame on, or this kit on, and that's what I was probably going to do, but I think I may hold off just for right now and go ahead and bolt it up. This gets a 1/2 inch drill bit here, and then the back side, these smaller holes, you can't see them because they're being hit by the cross member, but those are 3/8. You'll drill those out, and they provide a little tab bolt that drops down in here so that way this tab can be bolted down. I just don't like how much of a gap that it has here, but we will see what it does. I'll show you guys from the top side how well it's snugged up. Things clearance to fit. You guys can see right in there. Nice tight fit there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to drill my holes. I've already took a pilot, or excuse me, I already took a punch and went to the back of these guys and tapped them. So I'm gonna send a 3/8 bit down those guys, and then I'll do the 1/2 inch out here. So after you get this 1/2 inch hole drilled into the driver's side of the frame, Synergy provides you this wing nut here. This simply just gets dropped in through the back side of the frame like this. And you throw the nut right on through. Make sure those threads connect because you don't want to drop that in there. Cinch it up. There's torque specs for all of these, but I wanted to get this installed and make sure that this was all squared away before I went back and painted over everything. And this also snugged up the bracket. So now it's up against the frame again. There was a small little gap there, but that brought it over. Got the 3/8 bolts in there. Got the main bolt in there, the 5/8 bolt. And we are just about ready to put the track bar in. So before I go installing the track bar in the truck, I'm gonna drop the bracket back down. I'm gonna paint the area where we ground down everything for clearance, and I'm gonna paint all the bolt holes just to make sure that there's nowhere with bare metal exposed, because I don't want this thing rusting in between the brand new bracket and the existing track bar tab or track bar bracket. I just don't want it, you know, any rust to start forming in between there. I don't know how long I plan on keeping this truck, but at this rate, I plan on keeping it for the rest of my life, so I don't want it to rot out. Other than that, guys, what I'm gonna do for the track bar is probably set this up for a stock height, or a stock length, excuse me. I know I'm gonna have to get an alignment, and once we get it up on the actual alignment rack, they'll be able to center my axle better than I can, but I'm just gonna take the measurement on the stock track bar that's down underneath the truck, still back there. Just gonna take the stock measurement from center to center, and then do the best that I can to kind of set this up the same way that the factory track bar was, because my truck is stock height. I'm still on the factory blocks in the rear. I have no leveling spacers or anything in this truck. This truck is a factory height, 4-wheel drive truck. So that's the game plan. While that paint is drying, I'm gonna eat some lunch. take a break, sit in the air conditioning for a bit, and then we'll get back to it. Alright guys, paint's been drying for about 30 minutes. I'm going to get ready to reinstall this bracket and torque everything down. First we're going to put everything in there loose and then come back behind it and snug it all up. You don't want to forget your tapered bushing. Goes inside of your track bar mount for the original track bar. Drop this bolt down. This guy lined up in here. Beautiful. Alright, the washer in there already. Alright, got the main 5/8 bolt in there. Now I'm going to put in the smaller 3/8 hardware. I guess I'll just show it to you again. All right. Synergy gives us all the torque numbers here on the instructions. So for that 5/8 bolt there, you're looking at 200 foot-pounds. For that 1/2 inch, 75. And then for those smaller 3/8, gonna be 24 inch-pounds. So we break out the torque wrench. Okay, first number that we're gonna do is the big 200 for the main 5/8 bolt and nut. All right, we're at 200 foot-pounds. Try to get this guy torqued down.
All right, 180. We're almost there.
193. All right. 203.7 is our final torque number on that guy. $75 foot-pound. I'm sure she's already there because I sent it home with an impact. Yep, 76.1. Now we're gonna drop down to that 28 and do those 3/8 bolts. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little difficult doing this one-handed here. Okay. All right, one thing I did forget to tell you guys is you want to put your tab back on for your brake lines and then put your nut on with the washer so that way it can be held back in place. So I got the factory track bar laid out here with the Synergy bar. Looking like this thing fully collapses what's going to be the equivalent to a stock bar. There may be a few differences here and there, but again, my truck is not lifted, and so I'll be letting the alignment guys handle this. But I wanted to get it at least eyeballed in, and I'm thinking this is probably where it's gonna be at. So let's go ahead and get this guy installed real quick. One thing I did want to note before I install the track bar, for whatever reason, Dodge used a 14 millimeter and a 16 millimeter bolt. If you look here, 14 and 16 mil. Synergy does provide you with the bushings if you need to go to the 16 mil. I just simply test it by installing my factory hardware into the bushing. That way I know. Obviously you are supplied with hardware for the heim joint end, but I just wanted to note that. Get my nice new part, all dirty. All right, now we gotta go throw the tire on, so that way we can set it down on its own weight and get it lined up on the axle side. Tires back on, truck's back on the ground, and somehow, some way, it lined right up for me. I just popped it right in. I totally forgot to film for you guys, that's my fault, but literally put the vehicle down onto the ground under its own weight, and if you have another person helping you, have them steer it, wiggle it side to side, and with the frame side mounts it up, it will move the axle side back and forth until you can get it lined up. And somehow, some way, I turned off the camera, hooked the tire, or put the tire on, dropped it down, and looked over, and it was ready to line up. So I just tapped her in there and put the lock nut on the back of it, and now we're about to torque it down. I gotta do the same from up there, gotta torque all that down also. I'm just kind of dumbfounded that it lined up. Hasn't really been a hard project today, but you know, drilling the holes up there are a little finicky, and then drilling the hole over here, you know, it's not hard, it's just thicker material. You know, you're drilling through two layers of steel there, so it's nice when, you know, things work out for you. So anyways, I think we've got our torque specs here on our last bit. Let's see. Oh man, these instructions are kind of meh, not gonna lie to you. They are all over the place. Okay, so track bar bolt, 200. Frame side, we've already done that one. The frame side here is 145. The axle side for the stock side is 125. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the torque wrench set up with my 18 mil on there to do the axle side. And then we'll torque down the frame side, and then I've got to also fasten down the adjustment sleeve bolt too. So these two and that guy, and we should be ready to take her on a test drive. Slip her in here. All right, 133 is our final number. A little heavy-handed on there. The torque wrench did all the work for me, or I mean the impact, excuse me. Okay, now we're gonna do the upper side. Whew. Terrible angle to be doing that. All right. Now we just gotta tighten down our clamp bolt. That's self-explanatory, I don't need to film that. We can take her on a spin. little bit. I mean, it's a decent bit, but thought it was going to be a bit worse. Well, paired up with the PSC steering box, it feels like butter. Requires just the littlest input for you to keep it straight. I think personally that's pretty darn amazing for a second gen. Ignore my squeaky clutch. So I am noticing it's much easier to be able to steer the truck back and forth from a standstill than it was with the original track bar. Kind of bound up with the original OEM track bar. With this style, it's much more free. As far as drivability goes, I mean, we're not on a highway right now. We're just on it's a pretty busy road, but speed limit's 45, so we're not going to see a ton of speed. I'm going to definitely do another video after I get in alignment talking about the PSC steering box paired with the Synergy 3rd gen conversion track bar kit. I know it's quite a bit of money to spend on, 3 items technically, but I think for a 2nd gen, if you are going to keep it and work it and use it for a long time, and if it's 4-wheel drive, I think it's a smart investment. Yeah, it's real smooth. I mean, it's requiring almost little to no input to drive this thing. I'm very excited to see how it feels with an alignment. Wants to wander to the right just a tad bit. I'm very happy with this first impression. I think I'm very happy with this. Time will tell though, and I apologize, man. I feel so bad if you guys are just shaking back and forth over there. I don't really have a good mount for like vehicle use. I need to start using my GoPro and my suction cup mount again. Feels great though. Feels rock solid. I think I'm more impressed that I could steer it almost lock to lock without any binding or anything that's weird, funky. The PSC steering box, it really helped, and it took away a good portion of the slop in the wheel, and it also helped the wheel being able to steer lock to lock. But having this new track bar kind of sealed the deal. Carolina Skiff over there, and I want it. Okay, well, we're gonna head back to the shop, and we'll close this video up. I appreciate you guys watching. Well, folks, we are back from the test drive, and I am very, very pleased with the way that this truck is handling and the way that it's driving currently. Pairing that 3rd gen conversion track bar with a PSE is just, it's the money, guys. It's the way to go. I know there's, I think, 1 other or maybe 2 other companies that make these conversion kits, and if you have a 2nd gen that's 4-wheel drive, I would highly recommend you just go ahead and swap to this modern style or this newer style track bar. The ball and socket that we use, or that comes factory on this truck, is, it's just god awful. It, you know, when they engineered it, I don't think they were, you know, they just didn't engineer it correctly. I don't know what they were thinking and how a like ball and socket style, this style track bar, to be able to handle the amount of weight and the abuse that these trucks go through on a daily basis. It's a night and day difference doing a cross through, you know, Johnny joint style versus the ball and socket style. But this video is getting a little lengthy and I want to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to do a probably, I don't know, I know for sure I'm going to do a 100-mile trip on the track bar and then come back, retorque everything, and then maybe I'll put, I don't know, 500, 1,000 miles on it, see how it does, see how it, you know, reacts on the highway and all of that jazz, and then actually sit down and film a video for you guys reviewing the PSE steering box and then reviewing the track bar kit. And then maybe, I don't know, in another 6 months or so, we'll come back to the track bar and I'll review them again, because I know you guys have been wanting an update for the PSE, and I installed that probably like 6 months ago. It's been a while. So, okay, this video is getting lengthy. I apologize, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you're new to the channel, please drop down, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, drop a comment, say what's up, talk some shit. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the next upload. Later.